الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. صدق الله العظيم. وقد قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Respected elders, mothers, brothers, and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this world, He has created insan as a social being. He has created us in such a way that we are all dependent on each other. We speak to each other, we thrive off of one another constantly on a daily basis. How many people do we speak to? How many people are we surrounded by? On a daily basis, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the life of insan such that constantly, every single day, we are faced with dealing with people socially, talking to them, speaking with them, dealing with people. And that is exactly why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he has given us great instructions in the Sharia, how we deal with people, how we can communicate with each other, how can we make good relationships. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he has emphasized that in order for a person to be a good Muslim, it's not only restricted to your relationship between yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You could perform hundreds of rak'ats of salawat daily. You could make hundreds of khatams of the Quran, many completions of the Quran Kareem, so much charity, so many good things that you do. But if your relationship with human beings, with your family members, with your co-workers, with your neighbors, with the people that you're surrounded with, if those relationships are not proper, and you do not have good character with the people that you are surrounded with, your iman and your Islam will always remain deficient. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has emphasized, in order for a person to be an upright Muslim, you must correct what is baynahu wa bayn Allah. What is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that must be correct. وَفِيمَا بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَ النَّاسِ. What is between you and what is between people, that must also be correct in order for you to be a good Muslim. If one of the two relationships is deficient, that means that person's iman will be deficient. His Islam and his status as a Muslim will be accordingly deficient. You are very good on your prayers. You're very good with coming to the masjid. You're very good at reading Quran. But you're bad with your family. You don't use good words with other people. You're deficient in that regard. You're very good with people, for example. You use good words, very socially. You have a very good lifestyle with everyone. But between yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are things missing. And according with what is missing, that is what is deficient in a person's iman. So iman and Islam means that you are good between people, and you are also good between yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And with regards to being social, that is exactly why we see, whether it's with human beings, whether it's with animals, they all have a way of communication. Whether it's animals, whether it's human beings, all things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, they have a certain way of communicating with each other. And alhamdulillah, as human beings, and especially as Muslims, Allah has created us as ashraful makhluqat. We have been created as the most noble and the most dignified of all the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So accordingly, the way that we communicate with each other, it must reflect that nobility and that honor which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. No human being utters any word Nothing comes out from their mouth except that there is a guard who is eagerly waiting that whatever comes out from his mouth, whatever word comes out from her mouth, they will immediately write it down. They will immediately put it in record. They will immediately make sure that it is protected and it is placed in that person's book of deeds. Now, brothers and sisters, in today's day and age, everybody is worried about, with all the online and the apps and our phones and the iPhones, everybody's worried about their security. That make sure nobody's hacking me, make sure nobody's spying on me, nobody must hear what I'm saying, nobody must tap into the conversations that I'm having. So now when you're communicating with people, be very careful, make sure nobody's looking, you look left, you look right, make sure that everything is private and secret. But, brothers and sisters, have we ever thought about this, that any single word that you say, the angel is standing with the pen and they are eagerly waiting. Whatever thing comes out from your mouth, they're going to write it down right away. ما يكون من نجوى ثلاثة إلا هو رابعهم ولا خمسة إلا هو سادسهم ولا أدنى من ذلك ولا أكثر إلا هو معهم أينما كانوا ثم ينبئهم بما عملوا يوم القيامة إن الله بكل شيء عليم. There's no gathering of three people who come together to secretly discuss something. They're plotting, they're planning, they're speaking softly, they're whispering so that nobody else could hear. What does Allah say? They think that they're three. Don't forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the fourth. There may be four people sitting down, plotting, planning, speaking ill of somebody, backbiting someone, spreading tales, whatever it may be. They think that there's four people. Don't think that there's four. Allah is the fifth. If there is five and you think there's only five, Allah is the sixth. No matter where you are, what you're saying, the things that you speak, they will be recorded. And brothers and sisters, the tongue, this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created in such an ajib fashion. That of all the limbs of the body, the tongue is something that is very, very small. Compared to your hands, compared to your biceps, compared to your legs. The smallest of limbs. But Allah has placed so much power inside of this tongue. Think about it. When a person becomes Muslim, when a person accepts Islam, what do they say? أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. They recite the kalima obviously first with their heart, but then they recite it with their tongue. And from amongst the people who see that person, they will declare that person as a Muslim based on something that he utters with his tongue. That same tongue which brings a person into Islam, if they use that tongue to say things which go against Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that same tongue that brought you into Islam, that same tongue can take you out of Islam. Imagine, a small piece of flesh will have such an impact on your life that a person enters the fold of Islam, that for eternity, inshallah, that person will be able to enjoy the fruits of Jannah. And with that same small little tongue, he can spend an eternity in the hellfire in a place that he does not want to be. All from the tongue. Think about a person in a marriage, for example. A person may be married. May Allah save us all. How many cases there are? So many years a person has been married. There are children. Everything is going smooth. One day the person gets angry. The husband gets mad for whatever reason. And like this, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years marriage down the drain because the person got angry, they could not control their anger, and they said the words of divorce. Now imagine, 30 years, 25 years, 20 years relationship, all down the drain within a matter of 5 seconds. Why? Because the person could not control their tongue. Person could not control their tongue. And then after that, brothers and sisters, because we cannot control our anger, then we get all these different cases. The person is running from pillar to post. I need a fatwa that says my marriage is intact. Go to this person, go to that person. Well, I was angry when I said it, so it shouldn't count. Brothers and sisters, do you expect a person to give a divorce when he's happy? He's going to be smiling. My dear wife of 30 years with a smile, and he gives her a card, I issue a divorce. Is that how it happens? Of course you're going to be in a state of anger. Control yourself. Watch what you say with your tongue. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he has mentioned that the words that we speak, they are so serious and so intricate, so severe, that a person لا يتكلم بالكلمة لا يلقي لها بالا. A person will say something, he will say a word, لا يلقي لها بالا. He doesn't even think about it. He doesn't even think that it's a big deal. 1 minute before, he's happy, he says something, and 1 minute later he completely forgets about it. He doesn't even realize the words that he said. وَإِنَّهُ لَتَهْوِي فِي جَهَنَّمَ. That person, as a result of that word that he said, which he paid no attention towards, it came out of his mouth, it went into the other person's ears, it hit their heart, it pierced their heart, he didn't realize. He didn't even pay attention. He goes on with his day as if nothing has happened. Little does he realize, as a result of that one word that he just said, that person is going to spend years in Jahannam. The person will spend years in the fire because of that one word that he said. Imagine. Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. Who is a true Muslim? Who is an upright Muslim? It is that person that other people are safe from his hands, from her hands. This is an easy one. You may think to yourself, well, I don't abuse anyone with my hands. Alhamdulillah, my hands are safe. Keep your hands where they belong. Don't hurt anyone. And I'm good with this aspect. But the next part of the hadith where Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, the true Muslim is he that people are saved from his hands, min lisani wa yadihi. Min yadihi wa lisani. Both things. They are saved from the person's hands, and the people are saved from that person's tongue. That is a true upright Muslim. Let us ask ourselves, are people safe from our hands, and are people safe from our tongues? Do we protect the honor and dignity of our brothers and sisters when it comes to our tongues? Or are we those kinds of people that a person may be shining, blossoming, thriving, with hundreds of good qualities? Beautiful person. Lots of good things that you can point out. The person prays salah. The person is very clean. The person is good in their affairs with people. The person is responsible. The person reads Quran. The person has so many things that you can look and see. Very good person. But all of those good qualities, we're blind. We can't see. We become blind to all of the good things that that person has. And what do we realize? And what do we notice? The one bad thing that comes to your eyes, you go and you tell everybody about it. You know so-and-so, mashallah, they're a good person. I really like that guy. Really? Don't you know? I saw him doing this one day. Don't you know that one bad quality that he has? Now you've thrown dirt on that person's name. You have not protected his honor. You have not protected her honor from your tongue. You have dishonored them with your tongue. Do not be that type of person that when it comes to ourselves, we wish for other people to look at our good. Man, you know, I do some good things. I wish that person would notice the good that I do. Why do they only notice the bad in me? 100 good things that I do in a day, but the one bad thing that I did, that person has to go and spread my news to all of the people. If you don't want people to do that to you, respected brothers and sisters, don't do it to other people. Look at the good in others. Appreciate the good qualities that they have. And yes, when you hide and you conceal the deficiency or the problem in your brother or your sister, someone speaks good about them. You know, so-and-so is a very good person. They're very calm. They're very, good-natured. But you remember in your mind one time when that person completely lost their temper. They lost their cool. They screamed at someone. Maybe they hit someone. They did something really bad. Now you're there at that scenario. What should you do in that case? That person is calm. They have a good attitude. Well, I'll tell you. One day I was sitting and I saw that person, what kind of words they used. What kind of things they said. How angrily they reacted. No, in that scenario, in that situation, you stay quiet. Yes, I know. That person is a very good person. I understand, yeah. You conceal their faults. And when you do so, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will conceal your faults on the day of Qiyamah. Right? On the day of judgment. عَلَى رُؤُوسِ الْخَلَائِقِ, when all of the people are gathered, and all of the people are watching, and everybody is there. Today in our gatherings, there's a few people, 4 people, 5 people. The rest of the people are absent. Even in those small gatherings, you don't want people to mention your deficiencies. You don't want people to talk about the problems that you have, the negative aspects of your life. But on that day, brothers and sisters, there's not going to be 5, 6 people. عَلَى رُؤُوسِ الْخَلَائِقِ, everybody will be gathered. And in front of the entire congregation, everybody that has been gathered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on that day, we would want Allah to conceal our faults. Yes, you did this sin, you had this problem, Allah conceals. Hide the sins of this servant so that the people cannot see. If we want to be concealed on the day of Qiyamah, conceal the faults of your brothers and sisters in this dunya. Why did Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mention that backbiting and making ghiba, it is as if you have eaten the dead meat of your brother or sister? What a comparison that the Prophet ﷺ has given. You've eaten their dead meat. And we all know the story of the 2 women in the month of Ramadan. They came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, "You have not fasted." They said, "What are you talking about? We haven't eaten or drinking anything." Nabi Kareem ﷺ told them, "Put your fingers in your throats." They threw up. And what came out when they threw up? Raw pieces of flesh and blood. They said, "Where did this come from? We didn't eat anything. We don't have meat. Where is all this fresh blood and meat coming from?" Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam explained, you backbite your brothers and sisters, it's like you've eaten their meat. You've eaten their dead meat raw. Why did the Prophet ﷺ say this? Because when a person is dead, they've passed away. Now you go to their body, you poke them, you kick them, na'udhu billah. You drag them, you pull them. Can that dead body do anything? Is he going to block you? Is the person going to defend themselves? They can't defend themselves. The body is dead, the soul is gone. They can't do anything now. Nabi Kareem ﷺ is mentioning, when you backbite someone, it's like a dead body. They're not there. They can't defend themselves. They can't say anything at their own defense. They cannot protect their honor. But you go and you backbite that person, it's like you've eaten their dead body, taken a bite out of their flesh. If somebody is backbiting, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the courage and the ability and reward those people who have the dignity and the honor and the ability to do this. That when somebody is backbiting, you tell them, "Excuse me, my dear brother, excuse me, my dear sister. We are Muslim, we don't backbite each other. We respect the honor and dignity of our brothers and sisters. Please do not backbite. I don't want my ears to be spoiled and soiled and become dirty with the news of my brothers and sisters. I want to keep a clean heart and think good of everyone that I meet. I don't want to hear about their problems and their issues and their deficiencies and their sins, so that when I come to their face and I see them, I will remember all these stories that people were telling." No, I don't want all of that. I want to see my brother and sister with a smiling face, thinking only clean and good things about them. Please don't speak ill in front of me. And if the people continue, may Allah reward those people who have the courage and the dignity that they will say, "My brother, my sister, I told you once, please stop backbiting. If you cannot stop backbiting, I will get up and leave this gathering. Because the dignity and honor of my brother or sister, this is what it demands. I won't sit in a gathering where you're slandering and backbiting them. I will get up and leave." Don't be like those people where we sit and when we hear these stories, when we hear people speaking ill, our hearts find satisfaction. Na'udhu billah. How can your heart be happy at this? How can you get amusement when somebody's flesh is being eaten? How can you be entertained by hearing the bad things that a person has done? You should feel sad. You should feel sorry. May Allah forgive them. Why am I hearing about this? If I did something bad, wouldn't I want it concealed? So conceal the faults of that person. Do not speak ill of them. جِرَاحَاتُ اللِّسَانِ لَهَا إِلْتِئَامٌ. There's a beautiful Arabic poem where they say, the wounds that are caused by swords and blades. You know, a person gets sliced. Your flesh becomes cut with a knife. You get stabbed, na'udhu billah, with the sword. لَهَا إِلْتِئَامٌ. These wounds, they heal themselves. You put on a band-aid, you put on a cast, cover it up. What happens over time? Give yourself a couple of weeks. That wound, it will come together. It will catch up. It will heal itself. وَلَا يَلْتَئِمُ مَا جَرَحَ اللِّسَانُ جِرَاحَاتُ السِّنَانِ لَهَا إِلْتِئَامٌ وَلَا يَلْتَئِمُ مَا جَرَحَ اللِّسَانُ. The blades and the swords, the wounds which those things cause, they will heal up on their own. But the wounds that have been caused from the tongue, those wounds do not become patched up. Be very, very careful. Sometimes you say something to someone, you pierce their heart so bad that sometimes, may Allah save us all, for the rest of your life, that person will not forget that word that you said. Anytime you come in front of them, those words will repeat in their mind. I remember what that person said 5 years ago. I remember 10 years ago what that person said. Their heart will not find satisfaction to look at you. Their heart will not find the satisfaction or the ability to make dua for you. They will be so hurt at the words that you said. We must be very, very careful not to hurt the hearts of people. When we look at Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how nicely and affectionately he would speak to people. Man, this is something that we need to learn. Some of us, we may not be hurting people with our tongues, but we have not found the loving words of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This tongue is very dangerous, brothers and sisters. You know, when a person, you want to buy a firearm, you want to buy a gun, for example, you have to go through all the training. You have to get your license. You have to learn how to reload, unload, how to keep it on safety, make sure you're able to handle it. Only then you'll be given the firearm. If you don't know how to handle the firearm, you're not going to be able to purchase it. They won't let you carry it. Similarly, brothers and sisters, this tongue that we have, this is like a gun that everybody has. Every time you speak, you're firing bullets at people. Little do we realize how many hearts we have shot at. How many people we have wounded when we're letting our tongues loose. We're shooting them. We're letting the arrows loose. Two things you can never get back in. You can never get back. You can never retrieve it again. People are so worried about your money. You spend money, money comes, money goes. You spend it today, you get it back tomorrow. Losing money is not a big deal. The time that you have spent, that time you will never get it back. The words that you have said to somebody, those words you can never take it back and put it back inside your mouth. Once you've spoken it, it's gone. That time will never come back. You cannot take those words and swallow it back down. Once you broke somebody's heart, you have broken their heart. There's no way to take it back. What is the solution? Think before you speak. When you're angry, control yourself. Don't speak at that moment. Give yourself time. Get up, make wudu, leave the gathering. Do not try and handle the situation when your face is red like a tomato. You won't have a good choice of words at that time. Trust me. You will say things that you will regret later. Protect yourself. Calm down. Relax. Give yourself a couple of hours. Drink some cold water. Now that you have relaxed, your mind, the tension, all of that has gone, it's subsided. Now you have time to actually think. Think rationally. What words am I going to use? How am I going to address this situation? How am I going to make the situation better? Do not speak while you're in anger. Your choice of word is not going to be ideal. The way that you handle the situation is not going to be the best way. And as I mentioned, brothers and sisters, some of us, we may think, well, I don't hurt people with my tongues. But let us learn how to speak with affection. Let us learn how to speak with love, which was the quality of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the quality of all of the Anbiya alayhi wa sallam. We see in the Quran Kareem the way Ibrahim alayhi salam, the way he would address his father. His father was a mushrik, an idol worshipper who was fighting against Ibrahim alayhi salam and going against the ways of Ibrahim alayhi salam, despite the differences that they had. We see in the Quran everywhere, Ibrahim alayhi salam would call his father, Ya Abati. يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم يا أبت لا تعبد الشيطان. Oh my beloved father, oh my beloved father, oh my beloved father. Everywhere you see in the Quran, Ibrahim alayhi salam is addressing his father in so many places. He says, oh my beloved father. Put the differences aside. Don't worry that you're fighting me against the idol worship and I'm fighting for the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Still, you have this right over me that you are my father. Oh my beloved father. And in other places of the Quran, where the Anbiya would address their children, Ya Bunayya, Ya Bunayya, Ya Bunayya. Oh my beloved son, oh my beloved daughter. Using beautiful and kind words. Some of us, whatever we say, just straight to the point. A, B, C, I need this, bus, Assalamu alaikum, that's it. No. Bring joy to a person's heart. Yes, we understood. You're not supposed to bring harm and pain to a person's heart. Yes, but that's not where it ends. Bring joy to your brother's heart. Bring happiness into your sister's heart. Speak good words. Uplift their spirits. We don't understand how much power there is in the tongue. How much barakah and blessings you could bring in a person's life through the words that you use. For no reason, go to someone and say a few words of appreciation. You know, brother, I just want to let you know, I love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I enjoy your company. You've helped me so many times. Nothing has happened. There's no occasion. I just want to let you know that. When I look at your face, Allah puts happiness in my heart. Allahu Akbar. How much happiness will come in that person's heart when you tell him that? Some of us, we feel we're too manly to say I love you to our kids. We're too manly to say I love you to our wives. Let people know. فَلْيُعْلِمْهُ أَنَّهُ يُحِبُّهُ. Nabi Kareem ﷺ has taught us, if you love somebody, let them know that you love them. Express your mahabbah and your love for them, because it will uplift their spirits. And Allah loves it when you uplift the spirits of a believer. You make them happy. You bring a smile on their face. You put a smile on your brother's face, on your sister's face. You get the happiness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What a beautiful thing. You make somebody else happy, what happens to your own heart? It makes you happy. Look at the cycle, how it goes. You make somebody else happy, automatically you see their smile, you become happy. When Allah sees their smile and your smile, Allah becomes happy. You're happy, they're happy, Allah is happy. Somebody's looking from the window and they see 3 guys smiling, they also start smiling. The whole masjid is smiling, mashallah. From your one choice of words and making somebody uplift their spirits. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all tawfiq and the ability that we can use our tongue in the right way that it's supposed to be used, by constantly everywhere that we go. And this is what we learned from the Prophet ﷺ, that everywhere he would go, anybody that he would sit with, his tongue would be busy with spreading goodness. Speaking good words, complimenting people, commenting people's goodness, making du'as, good du'as for people. This was the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. You sit with one person, mashallah, may Allah put barakah in your life. May Allah put barakah and make you smile more. You sit with somebody else, mashallah brother, you're looking so good today. You look very handsome, Allahu Akbar. You go to somebody else, you visit them at their shop. Mashallah, you have a very good shop. May Allah put barakah in your rizq. You visit somebody else, they just got a new car. Mashallah, may Allah bless you with your everywhere. Speaking good. Tongue should always be accumulating good deeds by making people's hearts happy. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all tawfiq. Wa akhiru da'wana.